Mark Hambrick here, Physically Fit at 50. Here we are in another week of the coronavirus. We're working remote from home. Schools are closed throughout the nation, and worst of all, our gyms are closed. And I know you're stuck at home probably with a limited amount of weightlifting equipment, if you have any at all. And you're still wanting to keep up with those fitness goals. You can, but you've got to think out of the box. If you've got weights, that's awesome. If you don't have weights, you've got to think out of the box. You've got to find some way to still keep that muscle tone, make those gains without the weights. So here I am to put you through a bicep workout. The other day ago, I did a tricep workout. And let's go back and review. I talked about how the tricep is the biggest part of the arm. That's the biggest muscle in the arm. And a matter of fact, the bicep, which everybody looks at from when they're a little kid, they're always flexing it in the mirror, and all the way to adulthood, even old guys, we still flex our bicep in the mirror to try to impress our wives. But we're impressed with the bicep, and it's actually the smallest part of the arm. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put you through a few at-home bicep workouts. If you have some dumbbells, if you don't have dumbbells, or if you need to try to figure out a way to lift something without the weights. Now, let's talk about the bicep. The bicep, you've got two different movements. You got what I call the hammer movement, where you do a bicep curl without the twisting of the wrist, which works on the length of the bicep. So when I come up, if you look at it, the length of the bicep. Now you have what you call a bicep curl. When you come up, you curl the bicep. And as I curl my arm, twist it, I'm now working on the peak. So if I'm like this elongated here, like a hammer curl, and then I twist my wrist like this, now I'm working on the height of the bicep. When I do a hammer curl, I'm working on the length of the bicep, making it longer. So a curl works on the peak, hammer curl works on the length. So I just happen to have a couple of dumbbells here. It's not the heaviest, but they're 20s. Okay, so when you're doing a bicep curl, you want to keep the elbows in close to your side. You want to come up with a curling motion there and all the way back down. You can either rotate them, alternate them, or you can do both at the same time, twisting, keeping the elbows. Now you notice when I do it, I'm only hinging at the elbow. I'm not doing all the rocking like I see a lot of people do in the gym with heavy weight. I'm just right at the elbow, twisting, back up. Coming back, twisting, back up. Right down. Now, that is your basic bicep curl, dumbbell bicep curl. Now, another way to do it, let's say you've got rubber bands. Here, I can step on 1 foot, 2 feet. It's according to how much resistance I want. So I come up, still getting the curl, still getting the curl. Elbows are in close to the side, squeezing it as I come up, contract that muscle, come all the way back down for the full range of motion. Now, with the curl, like I said, that works on the peak of the muscle, makes it taller. Okay, now let's talk about hammer curls. Hammer curls is where I don't do the twist at the top. So I'm coming up, back down. Just kind of look like a sprinter. When you're working your hands and you're sprinting and you're running, you're just coming straight up with it. Straight up. Side view, hinging only at the elbow, straight up, all the way back down. Straight up, all the way back down with no twist. And that's working on the length of the bicep, the length. Back down. Now, you may ask, how many sets will I do of those? Well, if I've got light weight and I'm trying to tone, I'm gonna do a lot of reps. If I've got heavy weight and I'm trying to build mass, I'm gonna do less reps the heavier I go. But since I've got the 20s, I'll probably do anywhere basically from 15 to 20 reps per set, And I'll probably do on the bicep curls, since this is all I have, and I have no straight bars, no machines, I'll probably do about, honestly, I'll probably do about 8 sets of this, and then I may do about 8 sets of hammer curls. So I'm gonna really get a lot of reps in to really try to tone my arms, because I try to keep my muscles toned. I'm not trying to mass build anymore. I'm not 25 years old playing college ball or something, so I don't need the mass. I just try to stay lean, so I do more repetitions with a lighter amount of weight when I work out. And that's the same thing for the rubber bands. Even with the rubber bands, I just demonstrated the hammer with the dumbbells. You can still do the hammer curl with the rubber bands also, okay, with no twist at the top, again, to work on the length and not the peak. Remember the bicep curl with a twist at the top works on the peak. Remember the hammer curl, the hammers with no twist at the top works on the length. Now, I was even thinking out of the box. I go, how could I work out? Let's say I didn't have the dumbbells. What could I do? Believe it or not, I looked around my garage and I found two of my grill tank cans right here. Luckily, they're empty, but if I had to, I could curl the cans here, these tanks here. I'm not gonna get much of a twist out of it because they're so big and awkward, but luckily these are empty, so I'm able to lift them. But if they had gas in them, they definitely would be a lot heavier. So that's a way to think out of the box right there on doing bicep curls. Also, I've seen it where people can take a chair, dining room chair, curl the dining room chair. Just get right on the back of the chair, curl the chair if you had to. But you gotta think out of the box. When we're stuck at home, we don't have adequate weightlifting equipment, you really need to think out of the box. Why? Because you wanna maintain that physical fit conditioning that you were doing before the coronavirus, before we were stuck at home, while we were able to go to gyms. But you gotta do something. And plus you need to keep your sanity. You've gotta get out there and work out. You need to relieve that stress. So find a way to work out, quick, easy arm workout right there for the biceps. Think out of the box. Let's just make sure we're getting out and we're trying to do something, but we're keeping that social space also. So please keep up with your fitness goals as we get through all this together. Mark Hambrick, Physically Fit at 50. If you like it, press the button. Please subscribe if you want to see more.